Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 20th of April and I welcome you to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, let's start with the video. In the today's video, we are going to see the entire analysis of Hindu newspaper along with all the articles at the background. Now, you can also download the explainer notes of this particular session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram channel is given in description box in YouTube. Now, before starting, let's take the overview of the entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are actually important in the today's newspaper. So, coming on the first article, India's population to edge ahead of China's by mid 2023, says United Nations. So, guys, here we see this thing that India is about to overtake China. We'll take this particular article in little bit detail with respect to the population and related issues. Have informed states of same-sex marriages hearing, government tells Supreme Court. So from last 3-4 days, every day this particular article is coming in the newspaper. What this article is all about? This article is all about the petition that is lying pending in Supreme Court with respect to same-sex marriages. So as of now, same-sex marriages are not allowed in India, but the homosexual people, they want that they should be allowed to get married under the provision of the Special Marriage Act. So for that particular thing, this hearing is going on and every day this one article is coming. You are not required to track it every day. When the final judgment of Supreme Court will come, then we need to see that what, okay, is, has it allowed it or it has not allowed it. Okay, so then and after that, obviously there are going to be many editorials. Even if it allows, even if it doesn't allow, many editorials are going to come after that judgment. So till then, no need to go and track and make notes of it every day. Then after that, more age appropriate ratings for the films soon. Okay, now guys, understand this particular thing, that what has happened, the cabinet has cleared the cinematograph amendment bill 2023. Cinematograph amendment bill 2023. Up till now, this particular bill has not been released to the public. So cabinet has cleared the bill. Now this particular bill will be introduced in the parliament in the monsoon session. And when it will be introduced into the parliament in monsoon session, then it will be amended. There will be the bill will be referred to the, let's say, the standing committee. Okay. And all those, maybe if there are some contentious provisions, it can also be referred to the joint parliamentary committee. Okay, so whatever is the so this particular bill will undergo many of the changes, and it has been said that this particular bill focus on piracy. Okay, so piracy has been a very big problem, so fines will be increased on piracy, more age appropriate mechanisms will be brought, but we don't know the exact content. So are you required to go and see this particular article? No, not that much. Then moving to the next article, center asks states to enforce new rules to check stray dog numbers. So we have seen this particular thing, that over the last few couple of months there are many attacks of stray dogs, and in many of that children have died. So they want to control that. After that, we have the largely the political articles, etc. Okay, then coming to the city sectional section, private audit of electricity subsidy to discoms a sham. Handover task to CAG BJP. You are not required to go and track these regional issues, because much of these articles are only the political, basically there is a lot of politicization that is going on, or moreover the regional developments of every region is not very much important for your UPSC exam. Then further moving on, we have these advertisements, etc., and all these particular kind of things. Okay, so moving on now, again guys, we then come to editorial section. Now in editorial section, the first article, it's a new assault on India's liberty. Now this particular article, guys, talks about the IT rules 2021, which has recently got amended again. So we'll see this particular article as what the article is talking about. Now, the caste census, even if morally flawed, can help in targeting of quota benefits. Now, guys, understand this particular thing, that what has happened, there are the demands about the caste census that are growing. Now, understand this particular thing, that the last census in India was conducted in 2011. But when we talk about the census, within census, though we see the population of scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, but we don't classify the people on different caste. We don't count the population of the different caste as such. For example, Yadav caste or any other such caste. Fine, we don't classify them on the basis of their caste. Last caste census that happened in India was in 1931. Since 1931, specific data census on the caste has not happened. You might have heard about the socio-economic caste census of 2011 also, but its report also has not been released. So last caste census was in 1931. You might also be knowing about the OBC reservation that was proposed by the Mandal Commission, fine, in 1980. That also, in that, the data that was taken was of 1931. So many of the parties want that now we should have a caste census. So in Bihar already they are taking the caste survey. So Congress also has joined the political parties which are demanding the caste census. Okay, so this is all about that particular thing. However, guys, in the article as we talk about it, there are the demands, but government up till now, first of all, the most updated stand of the government is that it has clearly said that we are not going to conduct any caste census because it is going to be a very tedious exercise. Moreover, it will make people more aware about the caste divisions and all such kind of things. Okay, then India UE cooperation, a good article, will see this particular with respect to the exam. While strengthening ties with Russia, India must make its stand on war clear. Now, guys, understand this particular thing that Russia-Ukraine war is going on. Now, West has always condemned Russia for this particular war. Now, India's position is not very much clear. Now, India says that India doesn't support the war, but India has not criticized Russia either clearly. Moreover, now India also is further moving to increase the cooperation, economic cooperation with Russia. So it is being the article is saying that India should make clear that whether it supports Russia or it is against Russia. Fine, we need to give a clarity on this particular matter. Then Karnataka election, which way now? So guys, basically the article talks about the political stakes in the Karnataka. Okay, so Karnataka election, the political stakes, all these things are being talked about. Are you required to go in this article? No, this is a politicized article. The menace of paper leaks in Gujarat, then again, no relevant content has been there. Then guys, further moving on. Okay, so basically, the article is talking about the world's largest producer of milk hits a dry patch. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. That basically what has happened. You might be knowing that few days back, and even now, there was the havoc of lumpy skin disease that is caused by the lumpy skin disease virus. So, lumpy skin disease infects largely the kettles. By that, there are the lumpy lesions that develops on the entire body. Then the cattle they develop fever, running nose. Okay, their milk production goes down, and many of the cattle have died because of this lumpy skin disease. So here we see that the demand of milk is going up because of the lumpy skin disease. Many of the cattle are dying. So basically, the milk inflation, the milk production, milk prices, etc., in the different parts of the country are being discussed. Now, you are not required to go and track that how many deaths with respect to the lumpy skin disease happened in different states, what is the price of the milk in different states, etc. Okay. Then moving to the text and context section. The price of a lie. The Fox News settlement. Now, guys, you don't require to go too much in the detail of this news. However, we will cover this particular article, the relevant things that are coming. Why is a star planet pair emitting radio signals? Okay, so basically, guys, this article is talking about the YZ SETI B and YZ exoplanet that has been there. So we will take what the article is actually talking about in detail. One more thing, guys, I want to tell you. Basically, the price of a lie, the Fox News settlement, what this article is all about. So Fox News is a news channel in USA. Okay, and what has happened in 2020 when the elections were conducted in the USA, they have spread a news that this was a stolen election from the Donald Trump, and in a way they have tried to dilute the credentials of the Joe Biden. Now, the case has been filed on the Fox News. It is being said that this was entirely a wrong news that was spread by the Fox News. And there was also an election technology company by the name of Dominion Voting Systems. So they have said that this is the entire wrong news and they have filed a case. Now, before the hearing began, the Fox News had said that, okay, we will settle this particular matter and they are willing to give $787 million. Now, it is being said that they settled this particular thing because if the hearing would have went, if the case would have started, then everybody would have known about the internal functioning of the Fox News. So this is about that which is coming on. Now you are not required to go too much in detail that who filed the case, when the case was filed. Okay, so you are not required to go too much in that detail. This article we will take. Why are sensitivity readers looking at old books through a modern lens? Now guys, understand this thing that there have been certain classic novels, for example, uh, Agatha Christie. So Agatha Christie has written many novels. Now understand this particular thing guys, that many of the novels which were written 70, 80 years back. Now understand that right now there are a lot of sensitivity that has come with respect to the type of words that are to be used. There should not be any racial reference. There should not be any reference which are showing one particular community in bad light. Body shaming should not be there. But see, these standards have developed now. Old times, they were not very big things. So liberal references about the racial slurs, racial comments have been given in the classic novels. Now there are the demand that we need to revise it. We need to revise it. Now for the exam, the article doesn't contain much of the relevant substance. State cannot discriminate against individuals over sexuality, says Supreme Court. Now, this is again the continuation of the same article that I have given you the reference on the first page, same-sex marriages. So now, guys, the Supreme Court have said this particular thing, that what has happened few days back, Union government has made a comment that the same-sex marriages is an urban elitist mindset, that the elite people living in urban India, they are making this demand. So Supreme Court said that this is wrong. You cannot say like this. Moreover, it has been said that a person's sexual orientation, for example, a person is gay, a person is lesbian. So gay person means a male having sexual orientation towards male. Lesbians, female having sexual orientation towards a female. Okay, so Supreme Court says that this orientation is not by choice. A person doesn't have a control or such kind of an orientation, and if they have such, and if they want to get married, okay, allow them if you want, but saying that it is a elitist mindset and all such kind of a things is wrong. But understand one more thing, that you are not required to go and track too much of this particular article, because I've said that final judgment will come. We'll see that Indian stuck in Sudan says no power food supply. So guys, here we see this thing, that Sudan is caught between a conflict in the paramilitary rapid support forces and Sudanese armed forces. So in Sudan, there is this crisis going on and many Indians have stuck there. Then further, moving on guys, discussing MOU with India for training cooperation in electric propulsion. So UK is discussing. However, the talks are going underway. Fine. Then further moving on guys, largely we have the political articles here, tenders, etc. Then Union Cabinet gives a nod for 6,000 crore rupees quantum mission. We'll see this. Then after that, below article, FSSAI needs an energy shot. We will see this particular article also. Okay. Then coming to the world page. So guys, in the world page, we don't have largely much of the news which is relevant with respect to the UPSC examination. Fine. So the Sudan crisis is going on. Okay. So these 300 casualties have happened. Now, though an unfortunate thing, people are suffering here, but you are not required to track every day the numbers of fatalities, where the attacks have been made, where the attacks are getting intensified. Fox News avoids a trial to pay 787 already on the text and context also it is there. Now, conservationist in Sri Lanka slams a plan to export monkeys to China. We'll see this particular article with respect to the exam. Then home loan inquiries, slow, youth seek credit, unsecured credit. So guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the credit, okay, now understand this thing, people will demand more and more credit when economic prospects will be good. So right now we see that in the credit, home loan inquiries are slow. People are not willing to take the home loans because for that mortgage is needed. The loan is a very long-term loan, very heavy amount. So home loans are going down, but unsecured credit, for example, credit cards. Credit cards. Now credit card is issued without any mortgage. So this is unsecured credit card, personal loans. These inquiries are becoming more and more. Okay, now you are not required to go and track too much that how much percentage increase. Then we have the corporate trends, Tata's JLR to invest 15 billion, government brings back windfall tax on oil. Now understand that what is a windfall tax? Windfall tax is a special type of tax that is imposed on a company when a company makes abnormal profit, which is not due to the efficiency in that company, but it is due to the factors that this company cannot control. For example, guys, suppose I have given you this example earlier also. Suppose you are making sanitizers and suddenly the COVID pandemic has come and the demand of sanitizers increases. You are selling more sanitizers. You have increased the price also. Now you are making obviously more profit, but you are making this profit not because you have become efficient or you have made some discovery, but because of the conditions outside your control. So in this additional tax, windfall tax is imposed. So windfall tax on the oil has been brought back by the government. Then price cut failed to prime Netflix income, not very much important, sports page. Okay, so this is guys the overview of the entire newspaper. And what is the objective of showing you the overview? It is just so that you also try to understand that which articles are actually important for examination. Okay, now let's discuss all the relevant articles one by one in detail. Now, starting up. So in every class, guys, we start with the quotation from, we take a GS quotation which can be used in our answer. So today we'll take the quotation from Martin Luther King Jr. So Martin Luther King Jr. says, intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. So guys, the true education is not just the mugging of facts. It is not just making people smart, but losing that humanity. True education is when intelligence is built, but at the same time, character is also enhanced. And when we talk about enhancing the character, it means that the people should also be imparted with values. People should also be imparted with humanity. People should be imparted with the sensitivity. Okay. So this is something which builds a character. So intelligence and character is the goal of the true education, and any education which is not able to impart the character is a kind of a is not a true education. We can use this particular idea in GS paper number 2 education as well as in GS paper number 4 ethics. Excuse, so please guys don't mind, I not having a very good health. Now moving on, first article, conservationist in Sri Lanka slams plan to export monkeys to China. Now this particular article guys will see with respect to the prelims examination, the species in news, as well as with respect to the GS paper number 3 conservation we'll see, but largely for the prelims examination species in news we are going to see this particular article. Now let's understand that what is this particular issue is all about. Now basically guys, here in this picture, you can see the photograph of a monkey. Now this monkey, it is called as talk macaque, or sometimes also called as the Sri Lankan talk macaque. Now this Sri Lankan talk macaque is endemic to Sri Lanka. It means that it is found largely only in Sri Lanka. The status of this Sri Lankan talk macaque monkey is endangered as per IUCN red list. It is endangered as per IUCN red list. Now it has been provided that though these monkeys are endemic to Sri Lanka, though they are endangered in the Sri Lanka, but these monkeys have created a lot of menace in Sri Lanka. They have destroyed a lot of crops. They destroyed a lot of crops. They have destroyed a lot of plantations of the farmers, and therefore the farmers have been very much frustrated by these monkeys. This is going on. Now at the same time, what happens in China? So one of a Chinese firm which is involved in animal breeding, they have put forward a proposal. They have said this particular thing, that we want to import 1 lakh monkeys from Sri Lanka. That is 1 lakh Sri Lankan talk macaques we want to import. Now they say this particular thing, that we want to breed these monkeys, but actually the conservationists are saying this particular thing, that they are importing these monkeys so that they can carry the experiment on those monkeys. Their skin will be burnt, their eyes will be burnt, and many new many new such kind of experiments will be conducted. So it will be a kind of a violation of animal rights. Moreover, they also say this particular thing, that this monkey is endemic to Sri Lanka and it is endangered. There are just the 3 lakh population of this particular monkey here, and we should not, though they are menace, but such a kind of a thing is going to be wrong. Now in this particular capacity guys, Sri Lankan government has announced that they are considering this particular proposal, but as of now it is not clear that whether they are going to export it or not, but right now they are considering this particular measure. Okay, so I have already told you that the conservationists, they are saying that it is an ad hoc, illegal and a short-sighted response to a long-standing human-animal conflict problem. They say this thing that human-animal conflict is not a new problem, and the response of a human-animal conflict is not that you just shift an animal from one place to another place. So they are endemic here. It should not be done. Okay, so this is something that has happened. But guys, are you required to go too much in detail? No. Fine, just understand this proposal and the status of this talk macaque. the status of the talk macaque, that is endangered. Then coming to the next article, FSSAI needs an energy shot to regulate the processed food. Okay. Now, before going on in this particular article, guys, I would like to now first of all, this particular article will be important for GS paper number 2 health and GS paper number 2 health regulations. And guys, on some similar kind of a thing, there was a case study also that was asked in the GS paper number 4, that a reputed food company has been found that they are selling kind of a substandard quality products. So similar on this line, a case study has also been asked in GS paper number 4. Now, what actually happened? So guys, a few days back, there was a social media influencer. A social media influencer has made a video on Bonvita. So you might be all be knowing about the Bonvita. You might also have consumed the Bonvita. So the social media influencer made a video on Bonvita and said that this Bonvita is not good for the consumption, because in a 20-gram Bonvita, 7.5 gram is just added sugar. Okay, it is just added sugar. So therefore, it is not good for health, having it have such high sugar content. Now, once he made that particular video, what had happened? The company that makes Bonvita, that is Mondelez India, they have filed, they have sent a legal notice to this social media influencer, and after that, this social media influencer has deleted his video. And now there is new angle that is coming up, is that actually FSSAI, that is food that is the Standard and Safety Authority of India. Food Standard and Safety Authority of India, they have failed to ensure the food compliances in India. They have from time to time come out with many different and innovative measures at how the consumers can make a healthy choice, but they have failed to enforce it. This is a kind of a argument that is coming here. Now, let's guys understand that what are the important initiatives that have been taken by the FSSAI, whether these initiatives got implemented properly or not. Now, guys, understand this particular thing, that before going on this article, I would like to give you some background information. See, today, according to the Lancet Health Journal, it has categorized the non-communicable disease as silent killers. It has classified the non-communicable disease as silent killers. Now, within the non-communicable disease, we have the disease such as hypertension. There is a diabetes. Diabetes happens to be one of the biggest contributor in fatality when the non-communicable disease comes. Non-communicable disease are also called as a lifestyle disease. Why? Because we get them because of the poor lifestyle. And in the lifestyle, the food habits, the eating habits is a very important aspect. And therefore, many number of times what has happened, we are consuming a lot of preservatives in the food. We are consuming a lot of sugary content. We are consuming the food having very high bad fats, etc. Okay. And there needs to be an effective regulation, and for that FSSAI is a responsible body. Now guys, what FSSAI has proposed, now some very good initiatives that it has proposed. So FSSAI from a long time is discussing the possibility of front of pack labeling. Now understand this thing, that as per FSSAI norms, presently every food item needs to contain a nutrition label, which is usually on the back side, where it is provided that per 100 gram serving, how many calories you will get, what are the ingredients, what is the amount of protein, carbs, sugar. Okay, all these information is given, but this nutrition label is very small and it is placed at the back side, and many of the people most of the time doesn't observe that nutrition label. Moreover guys, that nutrition label many number of times in very simple words, that nutrition label is not provided. Okay, sugar will not be written as a sugar. Okay, it will be written as fructose or some other fancy name will be given, and common people are not able to make sense out of it. So FSSAI has said that now front of pack labeling should be announced. It means that the label needs to be there on the front, so that the first thing that the consumer is able to see is that label. Okay, this is something, and it has been provided that every food having which is high in fat or high in sugar or high in salt needs to have a kind of a specific label. For example, right now on the food you have a green label for vegetarian and red label for the food which is made up of some kind of a non-vegetarian item. So there needs to be a label which will very clearly notify that is it high in fat, high in sugar or high in salt. Okay, so it will help in making the informed choices. Moreover, FSSAI has also proposed the Indian nutrition rating system. Now, what is this Indian? Now, still many people are not able. Now, even if you put the label on the front side, still many people will not be able to make sense out of it because of the poor awareness. So they have said that Indian nutrition rating system should be brought. What it is a health star rating system. Now, the foods will be given the star rating. For example, half a star. For example, half a star for the food which are least healthy. Okay, for the food which are least healthy. For example, many of these chips, etc. Okay, that you are consuming, many of these soft drinks, okay, that you are consuming, they most of the time they don't have any health benefit. So half a star for the least healthy food products and 5 star on the healthiest food products, so that again consumers can make a informed choice. But these things are underway in discussion, nothing final has come out of this. Moreover, guys, what has happened in 2020, the FSSAI has actually looked into the food samples. They have looked in 1300 plus food samples from 30 food companies. Now understand this thing, FSSAI has very clearly provided that if any food, if any product is having 6 gram sugar per 100 gram, okay, so 100 gram of serving if you take, if it is having 6 gram of sugar, then they need to give a warning label. They need to give a warning label. In 2020, FSSAI saw this, but investigated this particular thing and found that out of the 1300 products that it has investigated, none was complying with that. Then what has happened? They also proposed that okay, we will increase this particular threshold, that is 36 gram sugar in per 100 gram serving. If there is 36 gram sugar in per 100 gram serving, then they need to put a kind of a warning label. But still, only 20% of the products are meeting this new threshold. So majority of the companies are not meeting the thresholds, and FSSAI also is not being able to implement it, is not being able to enforce it. Now, understand one more thing, guys, that today as we talk about India, India has a huge young demography, and because of this young demography, we are going to reap the demographic dividend. And in this particular capacity, we need to ensure that we don't have the populace, we don't have only the population, but we have healthy population. So feed it, sorry, uh, uh, basically Fit India initiative, okay, eat right movement, many such kind of movements are going on. They will only be successful if a proper compliance is there. Now, moving to the next article. Union Cabinet gives a nod for 6,000 crore quantum mission. Okay. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. That now this article will see with respect to the GAS paper number 3, initiatives for science and technology. Initiatives for science and technology. Now, guys, understand this thing that quantum computing, quantum computing is a kind of a path-breaking innovation that has come in the computing technology. Now, guys, when we talk about the normal computers that we have, so these normal computers that we have, what actually is the basis of their functioning? So in the normal computers, they perform the operations on the basis of the binary digits, that is 0 or 1. But when we talk about the quantum computers, they use both zeros and 1, okay, and on the basis of the principles of quantum mechanics, fine, they perform very fast computing operations. And these quantum computers are going to be the next age computers, okay, which will be even more efficient than the supercomputers that we are having right now. And for these quantum computers, there is a need for there is a need for research, okay. So therefore 6,000 crore rupees national quantum mission has been proposed by the Union Cabinet. Let's understand it a little bit in more detail, okay. So National Quantum Mission has been started. What this National Quantum Mission will do? It will fund the research and development of quantum computing technology. and the applications of the quantum computing technology and the applications of the quantum computing technology. For example, quantum computing can help in secure communications, okay, and many other fields. So those applications will also be studied. Now, right now the plan aims to develop the quantum computers. So there will be the 20 to 50 qubits 20 to 50 qubit bandwidth of quantum computers will be developed in next 3 years. Then 50 to 100 physical qubit quantum computers will be developed in next 5 years, and then 50 to 1000 qubit quantum computers will be developed in the next 8 years. Now, what is this qubit? What is this qubit? Qubit is also called as the quantum bit. It is the unit of basically it is the unit of process in the quantum computers. So the efficiency, the speed of the quantum computers, okay, the potential of the quantum computers is measured by the qubits. Okay, so in the next 8 years, the goal is to have the quantum computers having the capacity of 50 to 1000 qubits, and this is the principal goal of national quantum mission. Now, further guys, understanding this particular thing, when we talk about the applications of the quantum computers, I told you that they have a very big role to play in the secure communication. So basically, satellite based secure quantum communications will be explored. Okay, then guys, the communication, so satellite communication will be explored through quantum technologies, as well as the communications on the earth, on the ground, through the quantum technologies, it will also be explored. Now, as a part of this national quantum mission, there will be the thematic hubs. Okay, 4 thematic hubs that will be developed into the top research and academic institutions. Now, what are these quantum hubs? Okay, so there will be the hub on quantum computing, then there will be the quantum communication hub, then there is a quantum sensing and metrology hub, and then quantum material and devices hub. So these 4 quantum hubs will be developed at the reputed research and development institutions, universities, etc. Okay, this is something. Now guys, when we talk about these hubs specifically be focusing on generating the new knowledge, will be focusing on research in their dedicated areas. And by this, India has become in the group of 6 countries which have come out with the dedicated mission on the quantum computing. Okay, so India has entered in this select group. Fine. So that is all guys about it. I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. The price of a lie, the Fox News settlement. Okay. Now guys, I have already given you a brief idea that what this particular issue is all about. Okay. Okay, so guys, by mistake, what has happened? We have added the wrong photograph here. So basically, the photograph is of the Fox News settlement. The photograph is of the Fox News settlement, but the content is different. Okay, so please, guys, do adjust for that thing. Oh, so okay. So this particular Fox News settlement article, already I have told you that what actually has happened. Fox News is a US-based news channel which have aired certain news where they have said that it is a stolen election from the Donald Trump. Actually, Donald Trump would have won this particular election, and in a way, he has this Fox News channel has tried to dilute the credentials of the Joe Biden. And in this particular capacity, they have also questioned the credentials of the Dominion voting system, a election technology firm. So the Dominion voting system have filed a complaint, have filed a case, and now the Fox News channel is paying the money. So it is a kind of a guys indirectly a kind of an admission by the Fox News that their news indeed was propaganda driven. But you are not required to go beyond this particular thing. Okay, then further guys, moving to the next article. But before that, which article we are now going to discuss, let me tell you that. So if you come on the page number 1, if you remember the page number 1 that we discussed, so on page number 1 there was this particular article that India's population to edge ahead of China by mid 2023. So this article now we are going to discuss. India's population to edge ahead of China by mid 2023. So let's discuss this particular article. Okay. Now, so basically guys, as we talk about India, okay, so basically what has happened, last year already there was a United Nations World Population Prospect report that was released last year, and that report very clearly provided that India will overtake China and India will become the most populous country by the next year, that is the 2023. Last year report came in 2022. They predicted next year, that is this year 2023. Now guys, in this particular capacity, again the United Nation, again the United Nation has released the report, that is World Population Report 2023. World Population Report. Who releases it? United Nation. Even this particular type of questions have been asked many number of times in exam, that they will give you the name of a report and will ask that who has released the report. Okay, so as per this United Nation World Population Report 2023, they say this particular thing, that number one, India will overtake China and India will become the most populous country by the middle of 2023, somewhere around the month of June and July. It is being said that India's population will reach 142.86 crore and China's population will be 142.57 crore. It means that India's population will be 29 lakh more than the China's population. And so India will be the most populous country, second number there will be the China, and third most populous country will be United States, which is having the population of around 34 crores. Okay, so this is something that is happening now guys. Already the world population has also increased, and in this particular capacity we have seen that in November 2022 there was a report that was released which provided that the world population has reached to 800 crore mark. 8 billion world population already we have surpassed. Okay, now guys, this world population prospect report also has provided this particular thing, that as we talk about the global population, so by 2050 there are the 8 countries which will be the major driver of the global population by 2050. Who are these countries? Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines and Tanzania. These will be the countries where who will be driving the majority of the population. Okay, now guys, as the population is increasing, India, I told you, will have the most big population by 2023. There have also been the calls that have come with respect to the imposing two-child norm in India. For example, Uttar Pradesh government 2 years back came out with the UP draft population bill, where they have proposed that two-child norms will be imposed. If a couple is having more than 2 children, many of the advantages will not be given to them. They will not be allowed to appear in the government jobs and all such kind of things. And if the families have 2 children, they will be given a lot of benefit. So many of the governments as well as political leaders have proposed that we should come out with the two-child norm. But this is not going to be a correct thing. Why? Because many countries have experimented in it and have found that because of that, their population pyramids got disturbed. For example, China. You might be knowing that the China had came out with the one-child population policy, but their one-child population policy failed, and in 2015 onwards they moved to the two-child policy, and then also they have seen that it is also not bringing any benefit, and now the China is moving towards a three-child policy, and China is now also giving the incentives to the couples to have more and more people, more and more children. Now guys, understand this thing. When we talk about the total fertility rate in India, it has reached to 2, but in China it is just 1.2. Now what was the China's most big power? The big power was their population, and by their population they have become a kind of an economic powerhouse. But today the population is declining, and in the coming time China will have the gray population. So therefore China today wants to ensure that the fertility rate increases, but it is not becoming coming because people's reproduction preferences have completely got changed because of this forceful one child policy norm, two child policy norm that has been brought. So India should do it or not? So large chunk of the scientific community says that no, we should not go for any population control measure. Over a period of time, fine, population will come down. Moreover, total fertility rate of India is already at 2, which is below than the replacement rate. Then why is a star planet pair? Why is a star planet pair emitting radio signals? Now, this article guys we have taken from the text and context, and we'll see this with respect to GS paper number 3, science and technology, as well as for the prelims examination we'll see this particular article. Now what the article is all about? So basically guys, now first of all let me give you some of the basic information, and then we'll connect it, we'll understand the article more. So there is YZ SETI B. YZ SETI B. What is this YZ SETI B? It is a kind of an Earth-sized exoplanet. It is a kind of an Earth-sized exoplanet, fine, exterior planet, and this particular planet is rotating. Okay, it is rotating around the sun. Now, guys, you know this particular thing, that we have a solar system. We have a solar system, and in this solar system, what is our solar system's star? We have sun. We have sun, and all the planets in our solar system, the 8 planets, are rotating around the sun. So, in a same way, YZ Ceti b is a planet and it is rotating around its own star, which is a dwarf star, and the name of that star is YZ Ceti. And this particular planet is 12 light years away from Earth. 12 light years away from Earth. Now, what has happened? Astronomers have detected the presence of a magnetic field in this YZ Ceti b. Now, guys, understand that Earth also have the magnetic field. We have the magnetic North Pole, we have magnetic South Pole. So there is a magnetic field around the Earth also. And most of the planets, if they have to sustain a viable environment, they have to sustain a viable life, it is an important prerequisite condition that there needs to be the magnetic field. Now, guys, understand this particular thing, that I'll tell you. See, there is a sun, and the sun is often emitting huge solar flares. These slow solar flares can strip off the entire environment from the Earth. But the magnetic field, what it does, this magnetic field keeps away these solar flares, and in a way it protects the environment of the Earth. So the magnetic field is a very important criteria for any planet to have a viable environment. And this YZ Ceti b planet, which is rotating around the YZ Ceti star, from here we have detected the magnetic field. Okay, now, guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about this particular magnetic field, they have been picked up. Basically, these magnetic fields have been picked up at the Earth. Now, understand one particular thing, guys, that I am telling you. See, that when we talk about this YZ Ceti b planet, it has a very small orbit. Now, when we talk about the orbit of the Earth, the Earth takes 365 days and 6 hours to orbit the Sun. But the YZ Ceti b's orbit is very small, and within the few days it completes the rotation around its star, that is the YZ Ceti. Now, understand this particular thing, that a minute. Okay, so when we talk about a planet in order to be hospitable needs to be situated in the Goldilocks zone. By the way, this entire word, the Goldilocks zone, was asked into the exam. What is a Goldilocks zone? Goldilocks zone is that particular zone which is hospitable for the life. Now, you take one example. Suppose, now see, this is sun. Okay, fine. We have, this is sun. We have Mercury. We have Venus. We have Earth. We have Mars. Let's take this example. Now, Mercury is too close to the sun. Venus is also too close to the sun. Mars becomes a little bit away from the sun. If you go find the planets, find Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, find Jupiter, Saturn. Okay, if you go find the planets, they will be very much away from the sun. Now, understand, if a planet is very much close to the sun, it will face a lot of heat. Okay, and if a planet is away from the sun, it will become too much cold. It will become too much cold. For example, Mars, it has very cool temperatures. Okay. By the way, if you want to remember the planet's name, you can just remember like this: my very elegant mother just served us nachos. Okay, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Pluto was to be a planet earlier, but now it is fine. So we have 8 planets in this chronological order. My very elegant mother just served us nachos. Okay. So the planet needs to not to be too much away, or not to be too much near to the sun, and not to be too much away from the sun. So a point where it is at just the right distance, that it is neither too hot nor too cold, that particular region is called as the Goldilocks zone. Now, guys, understand this thing, that when we talk about the Earth would have been like Venus. Now, when we talk about the Venus have very high atmospheric pressure and very high temperature. Venus has the environment made up of CO2 largely, and Venus is very hot. Earth would have been like that if we would have been just little bit closer to the sun. So Goldilocks zone is a important precondition, and then second is that a planet needs to have the magnetic field. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that magnetic field is important for the survival of the planet's atmosphere, for the survival of the planet's atmosphere. Now if they will not have a they will not have the magnetic field, then what will happen? Basically the charged particles that are being emitted from the star, solar glares that are the solar glares that are being emitted from the sun, what it will do, it will erode the entire environment. Now here if we take an example, now Mars is orbiting the sun at a safe distance. Okay, now when we talk about the Mars and Earth, they had very much same kind of atmosphere billions of years back. They have a lot of water and they also have a similar atmospheric system. But what had happened over the period of time, the life developed only on one planet, that is on Earth. Why? Because on the Earth we had the strong magnetic field. And what actually happened, when we see the other planets, they are very much cold because their atmosphere have been eroded. So magnetic field happens to be a very important condition to preserve the environment. And in this particular planet that the scientists have now, the astronomers that have now detected this particular planet, that is YZ Ceti b, YZ Ceti b, just a minute, YZ Ceti b, they have found this particular magnetic field. So this is a very important discovery that has happened. Guys, I hope that you have understood it, and now we will be moving to the next article. Okay, it's a new assault on India's liberty. It's a new assault on India's liberty. Now we'll see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2, regulations on the social media, regulations on the free speech, etc. Okay, now basically guys, what this article is talking about, the article is saying that over the years government has came out with the IT rules, and by the IT rules government has tried to control the free speech. Now guys, first of all guys, what has happened very recently, government has, okay, now first of all let me tell you a little bit of a chronology kind of a thing, and then you'll be able to understand. See, we have IT Act of 2000, we have IT Act of 2000, and on under this IT Act, from time to time government comes out with the IT rules. For example, recently what happened, the IT rules 2021 were notified. Under IT rules 2021, government tried to regulate the OTT platform, that is over the top platforms such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, digital news, and the social media intermediaries. Then guys, what has happened recently, just a few months back, government has amended the IT rules 2021. Government has amended the IT rules 2021, and government has came out with the fact check mechanism. Fact check mechanism. Now what is this fact check mechanism? Government has provided this particular thing, that the fake news is a big menace. Fake news is a very big problem, and many number of times the fake news is being circulated on the social media. It creates a lot of problems. So therefore it has been provided that PIB, Press Information Bureau, will be the nodal agency which will fact check the news, and if PIB flags a news as a fake news, then that particular news has to be removed by the social media intermediaries. They have to remove this particular news. Okay, this is something that was there. Now this article is providing a kind of a criticism of all these particular kind of things. Now the article says that recently the union government introduced a set of new measures, for crushing the fake news and misinformation on the internet. Fine, so they have come out with the fact check unit, and it has been provided that if any social media intermediary will not remove that particular news which have been called as a fake news, then they will lose their safe harbor immunity. They will lose their safe harbor protection. Now guys, what is the meaning of this safe harbor immunity? Let me tell you. Basically the section 79 of the IT Act, section 79 of the IT Act talks about the safe harbor. Now see this thing, that on the social media there is so many posts, There are millions and millions of posts that are there. People are writing their feeds. So much of the content is there on social media. Now, suppose a person had posted a kind of a hate content on the post. Can you go and arrest the Mark Zuckerberg that on your website this hateful content is there? Mark Zuckerberg will say that how I can control this thing? Millions and millions of people are writing. How I can check every person what they are doing, what they are posting? Fine, I can't do anything. So these social media intermediaries need a kind of a protection. They need a kind of an immunity. So they have been given immunity which is called as a safe harbor immunity. But it means in very simple words. In very simple word, it means that you cannot prosecute, you cannot penalize a social media intermediary for the content that is floating on that, for the posts that are floating on that. You cannot penalize them. So they have been given a protection. That protection is called as a safe harbor protection or safe harbor immunity. Now this protection will be available to them till they will ensure the due diligence of law. So here it has been provided that if a news has been classified as a fake news by PIB, and if a social media intermediary, let's say Facebook, is not removing that news, then they will lose their safe harbor protection. This is something that has happened. That has happened. Now guys, the article is saying that with this new regulation, with this particular new regulation, what has happened? Union government had got the power that they will decide that what is bogus information and what is true information, and by this particular thing they will get a huge power with respect to the censorship. So it has been said that many times the news which is not favorable to the government, that news will be called as a fake news. That possibility could be there. So the article is saying that when we talk about these IT rules, they get the power through IT Act. Already I have told you. Now it provides a safe harbor to WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook. Already we have discussed this particular thing. Now already in 2021, the MeToo came with the IT rules to regulate the OTT platforms. Fine, all these things we already have taken. Now the article is further talking about this particular thing, that already when in 2021 these IT rules came, at that point of a time on the social media intermediary, there was one more condition that was imposed in 2021. That is that social media intermediaries have to help the government to find the first originator of the disturbing information, fake news, etc., or any news which have spread the riots. Now let me give you one example. Now guys, suppose somebody shared a post with you on Facebook, and on that particular post there is a hateful content that has been written. You forwarded it to some other person, then that person forwarded it to some other person, and eventually what had happened, that information became so viral that it led to some riot, it led to some kind of a disturbance. Now government will investigate the matter, and government will try to find that from where this particular disturbing information has come. So many times on the WhatsApp, people are forwarding such kind of a fake and bogus information. So government will try to identify. So government will go backwards. Government will reach that, okay, who first originated, who was the first writer, original originator of this particular information. So the social media companies have to help. Now this particular thing means that right now guys, all the information, all the communication that is happening, for example through WhatsApp, it is end-to-end encrypted. So even WhatsApp says that we cannot read the message that two people are sending on WhatsApp. It is end-to-end encrypted. But if they have to help the government to identify the first originator, they should be able to break that encryption. Now this was a very big criticism that came in 2021 that has happened. So it has been said that by the implication, as government is trying to regulate the social media intermediaries such as the WhatsApp, what will happen? The end-to-end encryption will also be limited. And it is being said that by all these particular things, government is trying to become a super regulator of information. Government is trying to become a super censor. Fine. So this is something that has come. Now, all these particular things have been criticized also. So the criticism that comes in this particular direction is that it is going to be a new assault on the liberty. Okay, now Article 19, subclause 1, subclause A. It provides every person the freedom of speech and expression. Now this freedom of speech and expression can be restricted on the grounds mentioned in Article 19, subclause 2. What are these grounds? Interest, sovereignty, integrity of India, security of the state, friendly relation, public order, decency, morality. These are the grounds on which the restriction can be made. But now what government is trying to do? Government is trying to impose a restriction on the grounds such as the fake news, misinformation. So if a news has been classified as a fake, if a news has been classified as wrong, then it can be limited. Okay. But very clearly the Supreme Court has provided in multiple judgments that you should not bring the new grounds. But this is something that is happening. So that is all guys about this particular article. And now moving to the next article. India UAE cooperation to soar regional food security. Now, guys, what this particular article is talking about? The article is talking about the India UAE food security partnership. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about the India UAE, India UAE have a deep economic relation, particularly on the food pillar. So India has been the net food security provider to the UAE. UAE, you know this particular thing that the climate and the soil of UAE is not very much favorable for agriculture. So a lot of food they import. Now, what has happening? The article is talking about this thing that India UAE food security partnership is becoming very important. Today, when we talk about the UAE's entire food security is built upon imports. And today, UAE is trying to ensure the food access as well as they are ensuring that they should be ready to confront the supply chain crisis. Okay, so many number of times the supply chain crisis comes by which a country is not able to export an item to other country. So now see, if supply chain for semiconductor is broken, it is a problem but not that a big problem. When it will be if our food supplies are not coming, because then the hunger will increase. So UAE wants to ensure that they should have the food access and they should be ready, they should have an ability to confront the supply chain crisis, and therefore they are relying on one very important country, that is India. Now when we talk about India, guys, India is the global agri export powerhouse because India has the largest net sown area in the world. India is also happens to be the biggest food producer. India has high land, huge land tracts, favorable climate. Okay. Moreover, when we talk about India, India also has been a biggest humanitarian provider of food. So last year, when the Russia-Ukraine war was going on, the food crisis became a very big problem. And under the World Food Program, India contributed the food for humanitarian purposes. So India has always been a forerunner in this particular direction. Already, India within the country is also running the public distribution system, which is the world's largest food subsidy program. So under the through the public distribution system, the food grains are provided to the people under National Food Security Act. Under National Food Security Act, 3 rupees kg rice, 2 rupees kg wheat and 1 rupee kg coarse grains are to be provided. One thing I want to tell you that for coming 1 year, government had said that you don't even need to pay 3 rupee, 2 rupee, 1 rupee. So the government is providing the subsidized food grains to 800 million citizens who cannot afford. Then government is also running the Poshan Abhiyan, world's largest nutrition program specifically aimed towards the women and children. Then guys, right now as the part of G20 presidency, India is also promoting the millets. Now 2023 is already being observed as the international year for millets. Okay, so 2023 is being observed as the international year of millets, where India is promoting it. India has called them as a Shri Anna, Shri Anna. And as we talk about the 2023 presidency of India, India is focusing on 3 C's. What are these 3 C's? That is COVID, conflict and climate. Now, India UAE Food Security Partnership. Let's talk about that. India UAE Food Security Partnership. Now, guys, first of all, India and UAE have come together under I2U2. What is I2U2? I2U2 is a grouping of 4 countries. That is I2. I2 means 2 countries by the name of I. India, Israel, I2U2. India, Israel and UAE, US. So these 4 countries have come together under I2U2. Under I2U2, UAE has committed that UAE will invest $2 billion in constructing food parks in India. These food parks will be constructed in Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. Then also, guys, India and UAE has also signed the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. And under this Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, Food Security Corridor has been signed. Now, what is this Food Security Corridor? Now, basically, guys, as per this food security corridor, UAE will allow the Indian foods to come in UAE. So, Indian food will be provided a marketability in the UAE. This is something that is happening. Moreover, guys, now what is happening? This corridor will provide the accessibility of Indian food to the Middle East, to the UAE's market. Moreover, it will also be providing the opportunities to the food companies that they can explore the UAE's market. Moreover, recently what has happened, UAE has also launched UAE's free trade zone. UAE's free trade zone has launched the Agriota. What is Agriota? Agriota is the agricultural trading and commodity platform. Here, Indian farmers, Indian food companies can sell their food crops, their food products in UAE's market. So this Agriota is giving the platform for the India's food products, India's farmers, that they can reach to the UAE's market. So this is something that is there. Moreover, guys, when we talk about the UAE's private sector, it is also very much eager to invest in India's food processing industry, food parks. So this is something that India can gain from UAE. Okay, so this is, guys, the prospects of India UAE relation on food partnership. So that is all, guys, about this particular article, and because with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Okay, so that is all, guys, for today. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow, and till then